Hey brother. Jay, so on Tuesday you talked about fish biology, so today I'm going to be talking about fish psychology. Because Finding Nemo may seem like a movie that's about a father trying to find his son, but it's actually about Marlin trying to find acceptance. Hey brother! So you may not know this about me, but I took an intro to psych course in college, and I've seen Finding Nemo about 100 times. Want to know what drives me crazy about that movie? That people believe that Nemo is the main character. Did you even watch it? Marlin is the main character. I'm talking to all of you kids that come into the museum every day and spot Nemo in the aquariums. You should be saying Marlin, except Marlin is a sport fish. You should be saying clownfish, and if you want to get technical, and you know I do, you should be saying Ocellaris clownfish, not to be confused with Percula clownfish. Anyway, enough of me knowing what I'm talking about. Back to psychology. Anyone who's ever watched a Pixar movie before knows all about going through the 5 stages of grief, which, if you are unfamiliar with, are the 5 emotional stages most people mentally go through in order to handle some kind of traumatic event. In order, they are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Marlin's journey across the ocean is not about finding his son. It's about Marlin, the main character of the movie, journeying through his grief to find acceptance. We start with denial.
Me? I don't have a problem.
Oh, okay. Denial.
It's literally in the movie, but Marlin clearly has a problem. In that moment, his son was just recently kidnapped, but Marlin's denial starts way before he meets the sharks. Before the tragic loss of his family, we see that Marlin is actually a pretty ambitious little fish. He has supplied his family with the best spot on the reef, with a view of the whole ocean.
You said you wanted an ocean view. You didn't think you were gonna get the whole ocean, did you?
But cut to after Coral's death, and we see a completely different Marlin. He doesn't necessarily seem sad, but he clearly hasn't come to terms with the loss. And Nemo is giving him just enough hope to claim that he is okay. He's telling himself, I still have a family. I have Nemo. Nothing is wrong. We are happy. I know it.
Denial.
But as much as he wants to try and force it, Nemo is not happy. He isn't allowed to live. Naturally, Nemo starts to rebel, and when he's off touching the butt, we see Marlin's temper flare as he shifts from denial to anger.
You were in big trouble, young man.
His anger isn't really coming directly from Nemo disobeying him. It's coming from Nemo putting him into a situation where he has to address a worst case scenario. In this situation, something bad happening to Nemo, which, as fate would have it, is exactly what happens. This leads us directly into bargaining, where Marlin continuously rationalizes that he could actually find Nemo, which, despite the ending of this movie, is incredibly unrealistic. It's basically like if you got abducted by aliens and your parents tried to rescue you from Saturn by themselves. But this weird sense of hope is exactly what bargaining is all about. It's the belief that you can reverse the situation. If I can just find the goggles, I can find Nemo. I can just find P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. If I can just get through this jellyfish field. If I can just get out of this whale. But he can't get out of the whale. He can no longer reason himself out of the situation, which leads us to stage 4. Depression. Defeated, Marlin sinks to the bottom of the whale, where Pixar cleverly recreates the opening scene, where Marlin cradles egg-form Nemo, except now it's Dory consoling Marlin.
There. It's okay, Daddy's here.
There. It's all right. It'll be okay.
No, it won't.
No, it won't. This is Marlin finally giving up hope and entering depression. Depression can be the hardest stage to get through. In fact, many people do get stuck here indefinitely. But most people aren't stuck inside of a half-empty whale.
I'd say it's half full.
Either way, the situation forces Marlin's hand. Or fin. The whale tells them to move towards the back of the throat, which Marlin fears is really just his way of asking them to submit to being devoured. As he's hanging onto that tongue bump, taste bud, whatever he's hanging onto for dear life, Dory convinces him that just because something bad could happen doesn't necessarily mean that it will. At this point, Marlin has to make a decision to hang on to that tongue bump and his grief, or physically and emotionally let go. Enter acceptance. Marlin finally accepts that something bad could happen, but that's not a reason to live in a constant state of fear.
I don't want to survive. I want to live!
It's really a shame Marlin's never seen WALL-E. Unfortunately for Marlin, his acceptance of this reality is immediately put to the test, as he has to see what he believes is his dead son being flushed down a toilet. That's a less than common sentence. Afterwards, he is understandably upset, but honestly handles it pretty well, accepting what was probably going to be true all along. Nemo is dead. Because like I said before, actually finding Nemo was probably never going to happen, and that's not really what the movie was actually about. But it is a kid's movie, and since all drains lead to the ocean, they don't. Nemo is alive and reunites with his father, and they live happily ever after. At least until Dory starts sleep swimming. More on that in June. Hashtag, is it June yet? For my question of the day, were you familiar with these steps and have you ever had to go through them before? I know personally I have on several occasions, and sometimes just knowing that you're going through a common response cycle is actually helpful for dealing with the problem. Leave your thoughts in the towel section down below, and also yesterday we hit 500,000 subscribers, which is just mind-blowing. So if you are watching this video and you are not already subscribed, please do, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. And if you're looking for more Finding Nemo action, you can click right here for Jay's breakdown of clownfish biology, or if you'd like to see my complete breakdown of the Finding Dory trailer, you can click right here. But Jay, that is everything that I've got for you today, man. I will see you on Tuesday.